Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, we're called New Zealand Mysteries, but we don't just cover cases in New Zealand, we also cover cases and stories from around the world as well, which is what we're doing today. We are looking into the disappearance of a very beautiful young lady, Darian Hudson, who's been missing from Stillwater in Oklahoma. And we want to see if some of our international viewers can help. Let's take a look. Please remember to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Really means a lot to the channel. Thanks so much. So I thought we'd start with Wikipedia and just have a look at Stillwater, Oklahoma. Stillwater is a city in and the county seat of Payne County, Oklahoma, United States. It is located in north-central Oklahoma at the intersection of US Route 177 and State Highway 51. As of the 2010 census, the city population was 45,000, making it the 10th largest city in Oklahoma. The Stillwater Micropolitan Statistical Area had a population of 78,000 according to the 2012 census estimate, so quite a big difference there. Stillwater was part of the first Oklahoma land run held on April the 22nd, 1889, when the unassigned lands were opened for settlement and became the core of the new Oklahoma Territory. For all those Kiwis that are watching and have no idea where Oklahoma is in the United States, so here we go. We've got Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, and her mother actually lives in Kansas, which is the state next door. Let's read some information. Here we are at the Charlie Project, and a lot of photos of this beautiful young girl, and what I noticed most is her smile. It looks like one of those contagious ones, and it looks like she's always got a smile. So let's look into it. Missing since 22nd of October 2017 from Stillwater, Oklahoma. She's classified as endangered missing. She is a black female, aged 23, height 5'3" and 120 pounds. Clothing description: a white t-shirt, blue jeans, and possibly a dark coloured coat. Now, the medical conditions are a bit scary. For unspecified reasons, Hudson's loved ones believe she may have been going through a mental health crisis at the time of her disappearance. So that's a very sort of scary thing to put onto the look for her. African American female, black hair, brown eyes. Hudson has a tattoo on the back of her right shoulder consisting of a large feather, 5 small birds, and the words "birds of a feather flock together" in script underneath. A photo of the tattoo is posted with this case summary. Hudson's nicknames are D and D Baby. Her ears and nose are pierced. So that, unfortunately, I can't enlarge that picture, but it's quite small, so if you wanted to have a look, you'd have to come here and have a look. Let's keep going. So the investigating agency is Stillwater Police Department, 405-742-8357, but I will have that information in the description box below if you have some information. Hudson went missing from Stillwater 2017, October 22nd. When her parents were notified that no one could reach her, they went to Stillwater and checked her home in the 500 block of West 5th Street, which we will look at in a moment. The door was open, the light was on, and there were dishes in the sink, but there was no obvious signs of foul play. Hudson's phone, her cell phone, and other belongings were left behind at home. Her parents reported her missing on October the 28th. Now, it appears there's a few days that go by before she is reported to the police, and there's a reason for that, which we'll get into a bit later. About a month after Hudson was last seen, a man tried to use her credit card at a hotel in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and the police were alerted. They traced the man, who said he found the card in a purse he stole from a construction site in Stillwater. The St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church was being built at McElroy Road and Country Club Road northwest of town. The man said he'd seen Hudson's purse hanging from a drainage pipe and took it. So we have this young woman who left her cell phone at her house and her purse with obviously credit cards, probably ID and money, at the construction site. Now let's have a quick look and see where this is. So at the bottom here is West 5th Ave, which I believe is where she lived, and up here is the St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church, and it says it's just over a mile in a car. It would be about 3 minutes, so it wouldn't be that long. It's quite actually close to the city itself. And if we have a closer look at the construction site, or at the church, we can still tell that's a construction site. Now I wanted to just look too at the woods that are around here that are talked about. These are woods that could be searched easily, very easily, and they are woods that you wouldn't really get lost in. I mean, they're not big enough for that. You go on one side and out the other, and there's quite a few of that around, but I don't believe any are where someone could get lost or anything like that, and very searchable, even though there's lots of woods, I guess. Alright. The police visited the construction site and spoke to numerous workers there, two of whom said they'd seen a woman matching Hudson's description on October the 26th, 4 days after her initial disappearance. The woman was sitting on the ground in a wooded area south of the church. When the two workers went to check on her, she looked at them blankly. They told their boss, and a group of workers went to talk to the woman again, but again she wouldn't speak to them. So here we have a large number of workers, construction workers, that know that place and have seen this young woman in a vulnerable state by the sounds of it. And it's good that these guys are checking on her and know something's up. But would you kill the police if you seen a woman obviously vulnerable in a vulnerable position at a place that's odd? I don't know. Would you kill the cops, or would you just leave her be? Put it in the comments below and see what you think. A local resident who lives east of the church saw the same woman later that day emerging from the woods and talking to his grandchildren. Another nearby resident saw the woman sitting on construction equipment on the evening of October the 26th, acting as if she was waiting for someone to give her a ride. There were no other sightings, but a search of the area with dogs and drones turned up her sweatshirt and wallet. Okay, so obviously she was there for many, many hours. If she was there with the construction workers and then into the evening, and like I said, those woods are easily searchable, and that's confirmed by the fact that they found some of her information. And so she's got no sweatshirt. The construction workers never said she had any backpacks or clothes on her or anything like that, or carrying anything, I should say. So if she's left her sweatshirt there, wouldn't she be very cold, for one thing? And her wallet. So what's inside there? Her ID, which is, if she's going to run away, she probably needs that stuff. Prior to her disappearance, Darian had been working as a server at Chili's restaurant on Perkins Road for about 2 years. She had recently suffered a miscarriage, broken up with her boyfriend, and lost her cherished dog. So obviously she's been through some really horrible things. On October the 21st, she told her parents she wanted to move back in with them in Wichita, Kansas, and they said she could. She did not have a vehicle at the time of her disappearance. So did she try and get to Wichita, Kansas? Did she have a plan to get there? But if you think, if she had a plan, wouldn't she take her phone and her wallet with her if she was trying to maybe hitch or get to Kansas? Who knows? The circumstances of her disappearance are unclear. She previously attended Langston University, where she played softball. So take a quick look at those photos of Darian. if you're in the area. Now we're at tulsaworld.com with another article. Vanished without a trace, tip sought in case of young woman's disappearance from Stillwater. This is October 2019. Now, there were very few articles about this, and most of them just went over the same thing, But we'll do find little tidbits of information anyway. The last time anyone saw Darian Hudson, she was sitting atop construction equipment at the corner outside Stillwater, looking like she was waiting for someone to pick her up. So, did she get picked up by somebody? Whether it was, with consent, she went willingly or not. In the 2 years since then, detectives say there has been no hint of her existence. No sightings, no contact with family or friends, and no activity on her social media accounts. It's a mystery. Stillwater Police Chief Jeff Watts said it's a complete mystery. Although all explanations of the 23-year-old's disappearance remain possible, including that she vanished of her own accord, the circumstances are suspect. He says she disappeared week of October 22nd, 2017, and Stephanie Hudson, her mum, said she last contacted her family on the 21st when she said she wanted to move back home to Wichita, Kansas. 4 days later, Darian's friends were blowing up Stephanie's phone saying they couldn't find Darian. Hudson and her husband drove to Stillwater the next day and went straight to the police department. Now this bit's going to make you angry. They couldn't file a police report because it hadn't yet been 48 hours since they knew of her disappearance, so they found themselves canvassing her neighbourhood and taking in the eerie normalcy of her home. Hold up. I watch a lot of true crime about America vloggers, and it appears to me, or from what I can learn and from what I've learned, I watch a lot of true crime, and I seem to know a lot about what goes on in America because that's where I usually watch vloggers from. I know that you do not have to wait 24 or 48 hours before reporting someone missing. That is not how it's supposed to work, and I don't know if they just suspected that that was the case or whether the police told them that they could not file a report for that amount of time. The problem is 48 hours, the first 48 hours are most critical for trying to find clues, and if they're waiting, then it means that clues aren't easy to find. So that really pees me off. I don't know whether they just thought that or whether they had to wait, but definitely puts everyone on the back foot. She said the door was open, a light was on, and dishes were in the sink. She said, but there was no crime scene to be found. They filed a missing person report with the police department on October the 28th, and the investigation began. It began with few leads for about a month, and detectives were alerted to an attempted use of Darian's credit card at a hotel in Oklahoma City. Officers traced the attempt to a man who told them he took the card from a purse he stole from a construction site in Stillwater. At the time, St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church was under construction at McElroy Road and Country Club Road, northwest of Stillwater. The man told police that Darian's purse was hanging on a drainage pipe as he and his co-workers drove from the site, so they took it. And we've heard that her wallet was found in the woods, so that must have been different from the purse. I thought people kept wallets in their purse, and then weirdly she has a credit card or debit card in the purse, not in the wallet. I don't know. Detectives visited the site and interviewed numerous workers, two of whom remember seeing a woman matching her description on the October 26. One said she was sitting on the ground in a wooded area south of the church, and that when he went to check on her, she only stared blankly. They alerted their boss, and a group of them went to check on her again, but she would not engage with them. So a lot of numerous workers were looking at this young lady, vulnerable, obviously, young lady, and she was there for hours, apparently. They didn't call the cops. I don't know if people think that they should have. Put it in the comments below. A man who lives east of the church told police he saw Darian later that day talking with his grandchildren after she came out of the woods. I don't know, so was she just waiting? You know, it looks like she was hanging around for quite a few hours. She could possibly have been waiting for someone, but just leaving, if she went consensually with someone, if she was waiting for someone, you know, I don't know. She would need her cell phone to contact them, wouldn't she? But she left that behind. So if she was waiting for somebody, how did she contact them? Because police, of course, would have gone through her phone. The only other information police have is from another nearby resident who said he saw a woman matching Darian's description sitting on construction equipment at the site late in the evening, looking like she was waiting for a ride. So, hours late in the evening. Didn't they think that was odd and want to know what was going on? And I don't know. After that, nothing. What said police interviewed as many workers at the construction site as they could, but reaching all of them was virtually impossible with the numerous contractors and subcontractors and poor records of who was actually there. Wow. So we know there was a lot of men, or a lot of workers, men and women, that knew there was a vulnerable young lady sitting around and hanging around that construction site. In early December 2017, after the credit card tip led them to the wooded area, police brought in dogs and drones to search for Hudson, but they found only some of her belongings. I think a sweatshirt and a wallet. She remains the department's only outstanding missing person case. Most missing person cases are eventually resolved or lead off with a witness seeing a person walking in a certain direction or getting into a car, Watts said. But in Hudson's case, it appears like she simply ceased to exist. He said, "You always want to find a person alive. At this point, we just don't know. Anything is possible. It just seems to me that if she had run away by now, something would have surfaced somehow, some way. None of this makes sense. Somebody knows something." Somebody always knows something. You hear that very often, and you think to yourself, someone knows something. It is very odd. If she wanted to hurt herself, I'm pretty sure that dogs and drones would have found her in that area very easily. So, you know, can we rule out that? How big was the search? I mean, they said that they just went to the area where after the credit card and the purse were found. Did they go further and look into other woods and stuff like that? It doesn't say. Can't find anything about it. If she was waiting for somebody, how was she getting in contact with them? And if she was going with someone consensually, you know, why would she leave all that stuff behind? You need some stuff. You need money to start a new life. Look, if you have information, I'll put the details in the description box below. If you're in US, please share to anyone that you know, your friends, and see what happens. Thanks very much for watching, but I've just got one couple things to get you to look at. This is our website, New Zealand Mysteries website, and it's at newzealandmissing.wordpress.com. Now, it's something that I've worked on for a very, very long time. It features heaps of missing persons cases from New Zealand. It has information about child abuse statistics in New Zealand. Really, really challenging. Warning if you go to see that. Obviously, mysteries from around the world. We also have a page of useful websites. If you're missing family or someone is missing, you can come here, and if you need help at any time, there is all the information for you. Very quickly, over here is my page at buymeacoffee.com/New Zealand Mysteries, or NZ Mysteries I should say. Here you can buy me a coffee for $3 to support the channel. The idea of donations is I need to upgrade my equipment. I just cannot run OBS and everything on here. It's just crashing my computer, so I'm having a lot of problems, and I want to continue doing this. I want to continue this for the victims and their families, so if you can help, that would be really good. But thank you very much for joining me. I hope that some news, or some good news about Darian comes, or at least the family gets some answers to know what happened to her. Thanks very much, and we'll see you next time.